Hey guys, so my name is Brittany. I am a nursing student going into my second semester of nursing school, which basically what that means is I have done 2 years of prereqs and then now I'm in an actual nursing school, if that makes sense. So today I wanted to talk about what I wish I knew before starting nursing school, because I feel like this isn't talked about enough. Like, when people are thinking about going to nursing school. So let me just start off and say that you're gonna have to learn to say no. And what I mean by that is people are gonna ask you, hey, do you want to go out and eat? Do you want to go do this? Do you want to do that? I am the type of person that I want to say yes to everyone. I'm not good at saying no. Like, that's just not my strong suit. But I have definitely had to learn how to say no, because sometimes you just don't have time. Like, there might be a test the next day and your friends that aren't in nursing school want to go shopping or something, and you have to just be boring and say, no, sorry, I have to study for a test. If they're good friends, they'll understand. But yeah, so you have to learn how to say no to people. And my second thing that I wish I knew,
you will be tired.
like, I'm talking 2 hours of sleep type tired. I think that's just me because I have a hard time falling asleep in the first place. But on top of all the assignments that just kind of like, what's the word, like snowball effect. Like, you'll start off the semester and you're gonna feel like you're trying to drink water from a fire hose, if that makes any sense. And it will get better in that sense, but then after that feeling goes away, everything, all of your assignments and just everything you have to get done just kind of like snowballs, and it just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up, and like before you know it, you have a whole weekend where you're just doing nothing but school. Here's something else that I was not prepared for whatsoever, is the fact that classes in nursing school are like around 3 hours long. Yeah, I was not prepared for that, like, whatsoever. I came from somewhere where classes, like my prerequisites, were 50 minutes they were 50 minutes or they were an hour and 15 minutes. And for me, those hour and 15-minute classes were so hard to get through because I don't like to sit down for long periods of time. I like to be up and moving. So even just for an hour and 15 minutes, I was already kind of like, ugh, like I want to get up and stretch and walk around and go to the bathroom and stuff. The good thing is, most of the time, the professors in nursing school will give you like a 10-minute break like every hour if they remember. But for instance, yesterday in my pharmacology lecture, that was a 3-hour class of pharmacology, which is really hard, especially to like just sit and like listen to, because I don't have that much interest in it. But anyway, we got one break in the middle of class, so we were sitting there. I think it was probably like an hour and 40 minutes into the lecture. He finally was like, all right, y'all, take a quick 10-minute break. We came back, and then yeah, like he just kept on at it. So that's one thing I do not like about nursing school. The good thing is well, yeah, that's one thing I just don't like. Another thing is there are really high expectations in nursing school, and this didn't necessarily come as a surprise to me, but I don't know. So for instance, like in my school, we have this test called ATI. If you fail the ATI, you fail the class. So it's basically like there's this big test at the end of the semester. So last semester for me, I was in a class called Fundamentals, which is where they teach you like basic stuff, like, I don't know, like turning a patient, end-of-life care, seizure precautions. I learned how to insert a Foley. I learned IVs in there. I don't know, just basic stuff like that. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, okay, so at the end of that class, we had to take a test called ATI. And if you are in nursing school, you probably are very familiar with ATI. But in case you're not, it's basically just like this big collective program that basically has everything you're ever going to need to know as a nurse. Like, that's a lot of nursing schools structure their content based on ATI, because ATI is basically like, it'll prepare you for taking the NCLEX and prepare you to pass the NCLEX. So yeah, ATI, I was not prepared for that. So yeah, there's high expectations. I mean, I think it's pretty like common knowledge that nurses are trusted, but you are expected to be like when you're in your scrubs, you are expected to be a professional. It's not appropriate. Like, my school has a rule, even though some people break this rule, it's okay. You're not supposed to go out in your scrubs like to a bar or anything. I know some people that do that, but I'm just saying, like, there's high expectations. Like, when you're in your uniform, like, you are, other people see you in, they trust you. Like, they see you in your scrubs and they just like assume that you know all the answers type thing. So like, I always feel like a hero when I'm walking around in my scrubs, even though I don't know anything. Like, I don't know, I'm like scared that someone's gonna like fall down and die, and like everyone's gonna turn to me and look at me and be like, oh, you have scrubs on, like help us. And I'm gonna be like, oh, what? I don't know, I'm just a little baby nurse, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so there's high expectation. Also, if you fail a class in nursing school, I want to say you get to fail one class, and after you fail a second class, you get kicked out of nursing school. So yeah, very high expectations. The next thing is care plans. So this part really depends on who you get as a clinical instructor. For me, I had an angel for clinical instructor, and she was just very understanding, and she didn't want to overwhelm us with all this work because she knew how busy we already were. But care plans, I know some instructors that required her students to submit a care plan every single week. Okay, so yeah, every single week after clinical, you were expected to pick a patient that you cared for during your clinical rotation and basically write out a whole care plan on them. So basically what that means is you have to, it's like a plan of care, if that makes sense. You have to come up with a nursing diagnosis, which is something you'll learn about in nursing school. If you're not in nursing school and this is foreign language, trust me, it will not be foreign language when you start nursing school. And you probably know what a care plan is, and you like cringe at the word, and yeah. Okay, so care plan, yeah. I was not expecting those and the frequency that they were going to be assigned. Like, for instance, this semester I'm in OB, and we only get 4 days in the hospital, which I was really sad about, but we also get to do a lot of community events, which I'm excited about. But we have to turn in a care plan on the mother and the baby, and I don't know why, but that sounds like really overwhelming for me, but we'll see. Another thing, this is not really like a surprise, but it's expensive. Nursing school is really expensive. On top of the tuition, they expect you to buy so many textbooks. On top of those textbooks, they want you to buy the ATI program, which I heard was around $1,000 this year. I don't know if that's anywhere else. For me, it was like $800. But I think the price went up on ATI, which ATI is a really good resource. I just wish we didn't have to buy all those extra textbooks too, because a lot of times you literally don't even use them. So I think it's kind of dumb that professors, like, they already know that you're struggling because you're a student and like school is expensive, time consuming, so you can't work as much, the whole thing. So yeah, expensive. It is expensive, and a lot of people can't work when they're in nursing school. I personally do not work, and I'm lucky that well, I do, but I work from home, if that makes sense. So I don't have to go to a job. I don't get scheduled and have to go somewhere for like 8 hours a day, per se. Something that I wasn't expecting is when you're in your prerequisites, I found that they were pretty easy. depending on the ones you have to take. So I had to take chemistry. Chemistry I think was pretty hard, but what I've heard a lot is that nursing schools will require chemistry as a weed out course, which basically means like they want to see that you can pass a class like that. That is considered like, I think chemistry is considered one of like the harder classes that you can take, especially for like your prerequisites. So the nursing schools want to see that you can take chemistry and do well in it so that they know you'll be able to handle their program. But that being said, even when you do start nursing school, you just have to be disciplined. Like you have to be able to tell yourself, hey, instead of watching like the entire season of Game of Thrones, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and study pharmacology or pathophysiology or whatever it is that you have to study for the day, which sucks sometimes because yeah. Another thing is like you don't really get a lot of time to yourself if you're not, okay, hold on, you have to be able to time manage, and that's something I feel like I struggle with. Like I'm not good at, if you hear licking, it's, come here. Oof. Come here. This is Shadow. Anyway, so if you, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, okay. So there's not a lot of time for self-care, which is really important, because how are you going to take care of other people if you can't even like take care of yourself? You just have to learn to time manage, because you will be so stressed out if you don't. I know some people who literally like felt they didn't even have time to do their own laundry. That's how busy they were. Granted, people that felt like that usually were working or had kids or just had like, they just had life. I'm lucky. I don't really have, I mean, I have Shadow to take care of, but other than that, like nursing school is like just the only thing I have to focus on right now. So I think if you are able to do, like, how do I put this? I think nursing school is much more manageable, and I feel weird complaining about like how busy I am all the time when I sit here and I know that other people have like jobs that they have to go to like support themselves, or they have kids to take care of, families to feed. I think I would be way more stressed out if I had that type of thing to take care of. But I know tons and tons and tons of people that do it and they do fine. So it is possible. So don't let that discourage you if you are, like, if you do have all these like if you have kids or a job, like don't let that discourage you, because it's definitely possible. You just have to time manage. For me, one thing that I wasn't expecting is how intimidating patients are. So I didn't really have any experience going into this. I know a lot of people that were like PCAs or CNAs beforehand, or I know a few army medics who they know their stuff. They did really well with like the skill type stuff. But yeah, like there was army medics, PCA, CNA, med techs. I didn't know any scribes, but I'm sure that they exist. Like I'm sure medical scribes go into nursing school. But yeah, anyway, so those people had experience already, and especially for like the CNAs, they like breezed through fundamentals, because basically all you're learning in fundamentals a lot of the time is like stuff you already should know as a CNA. But yeah, hospitals and just the patients in general are really intimidating. I struggle with learning like how to talk to them, because sometimes you'll go into the room and you'll have, if you work in a hospital, you'll know what I'm talking about, but there's some of those patients that like to mess with you. Like they can sense that you're new and like you're nervous, so they like to mess with you, which yeah, it can be really intimidating because you don't know how to respond. Like they'll say something like crazy to you and you're just like, yeah, like you don't, like, I don't know, that's just me, but I already kind of struggle with that already anyway, even if I'm not in a hospital. Like sometimes I just don't know how to talk to people that are older than me. Like I get scared. I don't know why, that's just me. But yeah, hospitals are kind of intimidating. So if you can, I think it would be really beneficial if you could get a job as like a CNA or a PCA. CNA and PCA are basically the same thing, depending on your area. So where I am, some of the hospitals will hire PCAs, which are CNAs, just without the certification. They do the exact same stuff. I actually want to say they get paid the exact same too, which kind of sucks for the CNAs because the CNAs had to pay for their, I don't know if it's a license or just like a certification, because it's certified nurse assistant. So they had to pay for their certification and their class and everything. And I want to say it's like 6 months. I don't know, because I was considering doing it before I started nursing school, but I didn't end up doing it. Anyway, PCA, CNA, if you can get that job, I think it would be really, really beneficial to you because you'll already go in having so much more experience, and you'll just have a lot less to worry about when you are in the hospital because you're already comfortable in that environment. Like, you don't have all these assignments and expectations on top of not knowing how to talk to patients. Like, that's just something I struggled with. But something else, there's a ton of drama, and I think that's probably just because the nursing field is just saturated with women and girls, and everybody knows when a bunch of girls get together, they don't always get along. So yeah, I dealt with a lot, not me personally, but yeah, okay, so like not me personally, like I didn't personally get into any drama with people, but I heard about a lot of drama and I knew stuff that was going on with other people, and it really sucks because the only other people that really know how you feel as a nursing student are your fellow nursing students, and if you can't connect with them and like get along, I think it's really sad. So my advice to anyone that is going into nursing school, like, don't be that person that, like, how do I put this? Like, don't be that person that starts the drama. Like, just don't. Like, we're not in high school anymore. This is a professional environment. Like, we should be nice to each other. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to like everyone, but like I said, just like stupid drama, it happens, and I hated it. The last thing that I wasn't like necessarily expecting is you'll meet some really, really amazing people. So yeah, I think just yesterday I was thinking about like how supportive my school is of us students, and I think that depends on where you are, because I know there are some nursing schools that don't really offer as much support, but my school, I love my school. I think it's so amazing. I feel like you always have someone, like if you're going through something, like there is someone to talk to. Like there's just some really amazing people, and they'll listen to you, they'll help you solve your problems, like they care about you. So those are just some things I wasn't expecting for nursing school. Let me know if you guys are in nursing school and some things that you experienced that you weren't expecting, because I would love to hear it. I think it's so like interesting to hear other people's opinions on things like this. So yeah, if I didn't say it already, I'm Brittany. I am a second semester nursing student, and yeah, I'm just excited to share my journey with y'all, and if y'all have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. Bye.